I don't know if it's going to be as wild and hairy as it was back in the day, but I'm sure hoping so, man. Do you think we can have a series here that goes 7 games, or the Warriors just obviously going in as the favorites that much stronger than the Lakers here?
Well, I think this is going to be a really interesting series. It's a tricky one to handicap. I do think there's a chance it goes the distance. I think everybody on both sides, though, is a little bit older and wiser. You didn't see a lot of bulletin board material coming out either way after these teams clinched. I think there's a lot of healthy mutual respect between them. And like you said, this is LeBron versus Steph Part 5, and we haven't seen it in 5 years. And you think about all the things that have happened in those 5 years. I mean, the Lakers missed the playoffs, then they won the title. The Warriors missed the playoffs, then they won the title. And yet these teams keep having misconnections. So it kind of feels like, well, maybe this will be the last time we get to see it, right? I mean, LeBron's 38. Steph is 35, still playing at a very, very high level. But, the breaks just haven't fallen the right way until this year, and I think it's going to be a fantastic series. The fact that it's in the second round, maybe that takes a little bit of the luster off. It's not a finals matchup. But you go back to the 2016 and 2017 finals, those series averaged more than 20 million people watching throughout the series. That's the highest number the NBA had since the post-Jordan era. So I expect there to be a lot of eyeballs on this series as the NBA's 2 biggest stars go head-to-head.
A little bit different, I guess, all the games being on the West Coast. This game's going to tip off, I believe, at 10 Eastern time tonight. So
stay up for it. It's going to be worth it.
I agree. I mean, you have Steph coming off that epic 50-point game in Game 7 against Sacramento. LeBron was fantastic. And we had the debate here in studio. Some of us believe that LeBron has to go for 430 a night. I'm of the belief that you need a triple-double type performance, like classic LeBron performances to lead this team. But they need Anthony Davis to get big. I mean, they need those 30-point games from Anthony Davis, or they're not going to have a shot in this series. Would you agree?
Well, I think what you saw in the first round from the Lakers was LeBron pacing himself, both within games but across the series. Like, look at that Game 5 in Memphis. He played a good number of minutes, but it didn't feel like he was going all out, right? He's 38. He understands his limitations. His outside shot's been a little bit shaky. Sometimes that's a sign of fatigue throughout the playoffs. And so what he's trying to do is pick and choose his spots for maximum impact. And I think you saw that in Game 4, the overtime victory, when he's going to the basket hard a couple of times and bringing that victory home. And then also in the closeout game, the Lakers really stepped up against the Grizzlies. And so I think if you're the Lakers, what you want to try to do here is slow the Warriors down. The Warriors were playing this breakneck style against the Sacramento Kings in the first round. And I think you're trying to conserve LeBron's energy, maximize his impact by just, bringing this pace down just a little bit. And then, of course, you want to win the battle inside like you're describing. Anthony Davis was a defensive monster against the Memphis Grizzlies the whole way through. 20-plus blocks in that series. And that's going to be a huge adjustment for Golden State because they were playing a Sacramento team that really didn't have any interior defense. You saw how easy it was for Golden State to just cut up that Sacramento team in Game 7. They're getting all these layups, going to the basket. Steph Curry's, doing Ringling Brothers dribbling acts through all their defense, right? They're getting stuff really easy against Sacramento. It's not going to be so easy inside against the length and athleticism of Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Jared Vanderbilt. It's a long, athletic front line. And I think Golden State's offense is really going to have to adjust by taking more threes and making more threes. I think both Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson have to kind of step up to offset what LA's got going on inside.
What's another X factor for Golden State? I look at these rebounding numbers for Kevon Looney. It's insane. He's averaging 15 rebounds per game in the postseason. He had 3 games with 20 or more rebounds against the Kings. Obviously, we know what Jordan Poole has the potential to be, but he's so wildly and it's maddening to watch him play, how inconsistent he can be at times. But you have Steph, you have Klay, you have Draymond. Who's that fourth wheel? Who's that X factor for Golden State?
Well, you mentioned Kevon Looney. I usually call him the fifth Beatle because he's doing all the dirty work, the rebounding, the defense, and he's not going to get the attention of Golden State's kind of premier star-level guys, right? And you look at the other players, whether it's Draymond, Steph, Klay, all future Hall of Famers, Andrew Wiggins, a former #1 pick, and then you've got Looney. But if you go back to that Sacramento series, he was their second-best player across that series. As crazy as that sounds. Obviously, Steph was the MVP, right? But Looney was so consistent and dominant inside, and his size and force is going to be really important to help neutralize Anthony Davis. If you're the Warriors, your game plan is let's, kind of dare LeBron to shoot from outside because he hasn't been shooting the ball that well. Let's kind of make him prove it. The San Antonio Spurs used to do that, 10 years ago. Say, hey, LeBron, see if you can make jumpers against us. I think Golden State's going to take a similar tactic there. But you also want to push Anthony Davis as far away from the hoop as possible. You want to turn him into a jump shooter. You want to get him, doing fadeaways and staying off of the glass himself. And I think that, Looney and Draymond Green, that's going to be, the matchup they're trying to use against Anthony Davis to own the paint inside. But, that's easier said than done. Anthony Davis at his best moments during this postseason was the alpha dog for the Lakers. Now, we've been waiting years and years to be able to say that, right? I mean, it's always been LeBron's team the whole way. And against the Grizzlies, we saw LeBron take a step back and Anthony Davis really assert himself. And it was actually more of a collective effort for the Lakers with Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, these other guys stepping up. But I do think if the Lakers are going to win this series, Anthony Davis is going to have to be the best player on the court 4 times.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.